right. So, welcome back. This is going to be part one of likely a two-parter. You never know. Could get worse than that. But long story short, this is my wife's Yukon. And last time I did an oil change on it, because you do your own oil, you can catch these things. Oil kind of all over the place, which can look worse than it is, simply because once it gets to the bottom, you figure when you're driving down the highway, all that water that kicks up, going fast, it just sprays oil everywhere. So don't really know the extent of how bad it is. It doesn't seem to be low on oil, so it's not that bad. But
that's the thing with oil. Oil, especially synthetic oil, will make its way out if there's an opportunity for it to get out. And like Patrick's describing, it's snowing out here where we live, and you'll hear avalanches going. But anyways, it will make its way to the bottom of wherever, and then the wind will hit it if you're driving and just start to make a worse mess than that's already there. I will say these are Yukons. It's a 2011. This is the genre from a 2007 to 2014. This is a GMC. There's also the Tahoe, the Escalade. Suburbans are of this genre. You have the Sierras and the Silverados that are the like chassis of this as well. They all have fairly similar common issues. You either have the 5.3 or the 6.2. The issues are pretty common between all of them. I recently my sister's had the valley pan gasket go. That shouldn't go. That's pretty rare, but someone else had been in there. That's a whole other topic, and we might be dealing with that today. But some common leak points on these at the top of the engine are the valve covers on each side. Eventually, those need to be replaced. In the earlier model, one of the valve covers actually they had to redesign it. So, but that's not affecting this one. And then we got avalanches going. The valley pan can leak, which makes you have to take the intake off. And then as you make your way down the engine, there's the oil coolant lines. There's the oil pan gasket, which we did on this one.
Yeah.
So we actually did the oil pan gasket on this one at an earlier date. And then I would say the worst case scenario is the rear main seal. So hopefully we're not
dealing with a three-parter for sure.
Yeah, if it's a rear main seal, that's an ugly job. But
the one thing to call out too that might be the cause of this is I did the oil pressure sensor.
Yes.
Which that'll eventually be a topic on mine because mine's going too. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah. So the proper way to do the oil pressure sensor is to actually take the intake off. It's about 2-3 hour job if you're a DIYer. You can get at it and replace it without doing that, but
it's awful. You need exactly the right adapters, wobble socket, etc. to just fit it just right, and you don't get a perfect fit.
And you have to have small, soft hands for millennials and Gen Zers out there that want to work on their vehicles. Yeah. It's quite an orchestration to get back there, but it's doable. But you're also blind to it. Part of our investigation on where this oil leak is coming from today is I'm going to use an endoscope. We'll try and scope back behind the oil pressure sensor, and then we'll look down and see if maybe it's just really wet in here. So hopefully we discover a smoking gun on the top of the engine. Yeah. We don't have to go any further, but we'll see.
Let's go.
All right. Okay. So I'm looking around on a step stool. The one thing that I'm looking at is along the valve covers down here, and I don't see any moisture. It's actually very dry. There's no moisture, oil moisture here.
And frame of reference on this one is right around the 200 mark, mile wise.
200,000 miles?
Yep. We got it around 180.
Yep. So this valve cover also looks good. Again, your leak would be on the backside, but I don't see any leaks happening here. On the radiator, there are 2 lines on each side. This one doesn't look to actually have oil coolant lines. There's the transmission coolant lines on this side, but I don't see that this has oil coolant lines. The ones on the left are usually transmission coolant lines. So if we were to follow that, I would bet these 2 lines go into the transmission. But that's another place to look. I don't see it being oil coolant lines. So if we have to get underneath, we'll look. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off, call that the vanity cover. I found these. You tilt it out that way and then set it aside over here. And your oil pressure sensor is actually back behind here. And that's where I think I'm going to do a scoping right now of this. And get my...
And again, that's where I would say do the full intake removal on my next oil pressure sensor, just because I don't 100% feel like I got that on tight enough. So there's a big part of me that thinks that we're going to see oil back there. But maybe I got lucky.
I'm recording this now. Oh. That's some moisture.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have oil there.
What do you mean? Without taking the intake off, you have to do this with a wrench.
So right there?
Yeah, so that's where it's leaking.
Yeah.
I'd say.
No, that's normal. Just leave that like that. This is what happens when Helen Keller does a job. Wow, that's not nice.
Well, I'm actually a Helen Keller denier, so.
Oh, you are? She was
she was a fraud.
She was a fraud to entertain the...
There's no way she flew a plane.
That was Amelia Earhart.
No, look it up. Helen Keller flew a plane.
Ooh. With Amelia Earhart? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's it. You know, endoscopes don't cost that much, but
realistically, how much time would it take to for sure get that answer without one?
Well, it would be like any dealer. They would say, we think it could be this. And now, I mean, here's the deal. To a dealer's defense, they don't know that Patrick or anyone else did that job. And Patrick admittedly said he doesn't feel comfortable with how tight that is. And because it's not tight, they don't know. They should be able to, they're going to use an endoscope though.
No.
But because of this make and model, if he didn't tell them that he had done that oil pressure sensor, they're not going to go right to that. They're going to go to extreme scenarios because they want to cover the cost of taking apart your engine. So if they get in there and see that it's oil pressure sensor, you're still gonna pay the freight, right? So they're gonna tell you something that's gonna require you to kind of dig in there and get at that. But because we know these vehicles, we know them well. We knew what to look at. He knew what to touch. But yeah, we could look up. We'll look up what the cost for when we.
Yep.
But this intake has to come off. The alternator stays. The snorkel comes off. This intake, it's not terrible. The fuel line is actually all attached to this. The most work for getting the fuel line off is there's the electrical plugs for the fuel injectors, and that's the most time consuming part because you don't want to break those. So you get they're fragile. So, but this is a smoking gun. This is part one of this video, but we'll get in there. It's a clean engine. Otherwise, we'll lay down on the muck real quick and just do a quick look at some of the other places down with another camera and show you. But I feel really good that this is actually what the problem is. You can see the oil seeping out around the pressure sensor as well.
Yeah.
So Cool. All right. So we're going to go underneath here. I'm just going to point out some other common leak points. So as you can see, this is making quite the mess because it's dripping down from the top of the engine. But if you have a rear main seal leak, you're going to get pooling here. Those transmission coolant lines come back to here. That's what I was referencing before. Sometimes those leak. That's actually pretty clean. I feel good about the oil pan on this one. So the oil pan is usually leaking. But other than that, this is actually pretty clean. Might be able to see, of course I got this magnetic thing. Might be able to see where it's coming down from the top. It's usually around the bell housing of the transmission. That's why, if it's your oil pressure sensor and it's leaking from the top of your valve covers, it'll pool around this and make people think, or make you think that it's this is value proposition. This is where you could get ripped off because someone's going to be like, oh, it's a rear main seal. And it's not. And if it's low mileage, you go 70,000 miles and they just replace the pressure sensor and charge you the $2,000 or $1,500 to do the rear main seal. I'm not saying that people do that, but they absolutely do that. That's literally what they do. So where they can get away with it, they will. But it's good for you to know this stuff. So, but overall, the bottom of the engine is pretty clean. That's the starter right there. We're going to be doing a starter in mine at some point. But if you have an oil coolant lines, they usually go right into here. And this is a common leak point, the seal right here. But this is actually looking pretty good too. I feel very confident that most of this oil is actually leaking from the top. So, but it's coming around the bell housing here. And then pooling right here at the bottom. So that's our smoking gun, but just kind of a re-review. These are transmission coolant lines. Those will leak over by the radiator. And then there's oil coolant lines, which this doesn't have, but those go into that unit right there, usually. And that, regardless of whether you have coolant lines or not, will leak. So that's a common leak point. Or your rear main seal, you'll pop off this cover. And that, if that is all wet on the inside there, that's an indicator that you have a rear main seal leak. But again, I feel very confident that it's the oil pressure sensor. And we did the oil pan on this one. So that is also a common leak point. But because we did the oil pan so recently, and we've done like 7 of those, so it's not likely that's the issue either. So we'll do that in a part 2. And we'll be back at you on the upside to close this out. All right, kind of a quick video today. Easy to diagnose. Again,
If you have the right tools.
yeah.
If you don't have the right tools on this one, diagnosis is kind of out the window.
Yeah, that one is tucked back in there. And, the endoscope, I want to say I got that one on Amazon. It served me well. I've used it lots and lots of times. If you do any DIY work, whether it's homework or automotive repair, it's a perfect tool to get into very tight spaces. If you're ever doing a dishwasher is a perfect tool for an endoscope. So if you decide to do your own dishwasher, want to make sure it doesn't leak, get back there with an endoscope and you'll save a lot of headache. So this is a plug for getting an endoscope, but turns out it's the oil pressure sensor. He suspected that was the case. We'll figure out a weekend here where we'll dig in and get that done.
Yep. And then it's actually basically we got to do it twice because I need one on mine.
He did his other one. So I don't know if we'll film both of those, but we'll definitely film one. It's a 5.3 in both of the cars and they're 1 year apart. So it's literally, we'd be just showing you because you want to see our smiley faces.
We could attempt to do it the non-intake way on one and the correct way.
So then we got to do it a third time?
No, it's just tighten it, doing it the right way, and then replace that one, and maybe it works.
And hope.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, short video. This was primarily about, diagnosing oil leaks. Again, it's not Yukon specific. These are engines. These all mechanically work the same way. They generally leak the same places, especially over time. This one's got close to 200,000 miles or 200,000 miles ish. So these things go bad, and that's, just good to know where to look for things. And that's what we want to do. We want to help you understand kind of the value proposition and those points where you might be taken advantage of if you're ever in a similar situation.
Yep. And a leak like this, it's better to fix it now than, just keep kicking the can down the road, and eventually you're driving down the road with no oil and you blow your whole engine. So,
Yep. So, all right, we'll be back at you with the next video and part 2 of this series.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.